Okay, so welcome back. We've got a new series starting now, which we call our Top 5 series, where we're going to run through a couple of topics and give you our top 5 tips for those topics. The first topic is what to consider, the top 5 things to consider when you're moving abroad with your recruitment career. Number 1 on the list, I think is the obvious one, is which country. I think a lot of recruiters are now considering taking their career overseas, and there are a lot of options these days, right? I think when I started in recruitment a long time ago in England, I never imagined maybe Australia was an option, but now we've got Dubai, we've got the whole of Asia.
US has been huge for the last few years as well.
The US is a big market, so I think our first bit of advice is look at the whole world. Don't rule anything out. Investigate all the markets and all the different countries. You'll probably have more options than you think.
The number 2 is, are you going to move with your own company, and do you have a company that is big enough to allow you that kind of move, or are you going to move through another company, basically? So I think a couple of things you want to consider here. Again, first of all, you need to work for one of the largest organizations in the world that has offices overseas if you want to be considered for an internal move. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Even if the company has the same name, might be run in very different ways in different markets. So maybe have the chance to think about it. If you move within the same company, most of the time, you're probably not going to get a pay rise. You're probably going to have a lateral move, I think.
Or even a step down. Sometimes.
Or even a step down sometimes. So think about it. Otherwise, if you decide to go on the other path, which is, changing company, basically, this is a bit more tricky because, again, markets have a variety of different local players, lots of different boutiques that you might not have heard of, very different style of management and different cultures, I think. So certainly my advice would be, which is what I did when I moved from London to Japan, cast your net really wide. If your CV is good, if you have a chance to meet with people, meet as many people as you can, approach the CEOs directly of each business. I would recommend you to go through TAs, and also consider rec to rec. They're very good rec to rec, specialize in certain market. So again, keep all your options open, meet as people as you can, and ideally get to a point where you have 2-3 offers on the table and you can pick the best one for you.
Okay, so number 3, I think you need to consider how well-rounded you are as a recruiter. Moving overseas with your recruitment career is a big move. And I think a lot of people might make that move a little bit too early. I think the ideal time to move, honestly, is when you're at the top of your game. There's a lot of things to consider when you move into a different country. We're going to touch on that in one of our other points. So I think you should be a really good biller, successful in the area or the level that you're at currently, and then you're probably ready to make a move.
And number 4 is think about the specialism. If you're working in a specialist agency, maybe the area you recruit in is really strong in your particular country, but might not be that strong in other country. Also, think about the business that you're going to be joining. Do they have a strong specialism in that area or not? What's your likely career progression, in that particular area? I always thought that best recruiters are able to switch from specialism to specialism. So I will always recommend, especially if you're like in your, maybe, 5th year, I think, within the 5th to 10 year sort of your recruitment career, maybe you have a little bit of management experience. It's always good to try something new. And I think management skills are transferable. And again, if you are a good biller, you should bill in any area, I think. Think about the database that that company will have. Will you be able to make a placement quickly? What's the client base in that area? If you manage a team, who these people are, all these kind of things. That's it.
Okay, and the last point, number 5, I think the most important one, honestly, we've both done this. We've both moved from the UK to Japan, so we're speaking from experience. You've got to be all in. You've got to literally be all in. You've got to be bang up for it, ready to take on a new challenge. And I think you have to mentally prepare for an adjustment period. we both had this when we moved to the Japan market. I remember my first day after 10 years of recruiting in England, my first day recruiting in Japan, I was thinking, I'm not sure I can do this. I'm not, this is a completely different universe.
Even the names.
Yeah.
You just get familiar with different names in different countries. It's not easy to remember who you're talking to.
Exactly. So I think you just got to be prepared mentally that the first 3 months are going to be tough. But if you do have a well-rounded skill set, like we said already, and you're kind of at the peak of your career, your recruitment ability will definitely get you through in any market after 2 or 3 months.
Yeah. Also, maybe, you have to have a little bit of commitment, moving overseas and stay there for 1 year and, going back to, wherever you came from with, your tail between your legs is not great. I think if you do make the move, I think you should invest at least 3 years and complete the cycle and then maybe do something else, of course, but you do have that set of commitment and think about your family and personal life as well, like if you have a family, are they gonna move with you or they're not gonna move with you? Really difficult decisions to make. So think carefully, but it's certainly, we've always been big fan of, international moves. So I think if you are considering, let us know.